All right, let's jump right into this. If you've been glancing at the job market lately, specifically for 2026, you're probably feeling a little overwhelmed, right? We're seeing some pretty wild shifts in how, where, and honestly, why we work. But here is the absolute biggest game changer. You literally do not need a 4-year college degree anymore to land a high-paying, fully remote job. No way. In today's explainer, we're going to walk through a complete, step-by-step playbook on how to pivot into a lucrative remote career, and it's all based on the absolute latest hiring data. I actually want to kick things off right here, because this perfectly validates what so many job seekers have been hoping for. Listen to this. A May 2026 report from FlexJobs states employers recognize that real-world skills, whether self-taught, gained through work experience, or developed through alternative learning paths, can be just as valuable as a college degree. That is huge. Major employers are officially ditching the whole rigid degree requirement. They're looking at your potential, your practical skills. Basically, if you can get the job done, they want you. So here's our roadmap for today. We're going to bust the degree myth, look at some high-paying remote roles, dive into jobs you can start with zero experience, show you exactly where to find legitimate work, and wrap up with how to pitch your first clients. Okay, first up, the degree myth busted, and why skills absolutely rule the 2026 market. You know, remote work really isn't just this fancy luxury perk for software engineers fresh out of Ivy League schools anymore. Get a load of this number. 22. By 2026, 22% of the U.S. workforce is going to be completely remote. To put that into perspective, that is 32.6 million people clocking in from their living rooms, kitchen tables, or, the couch. Because the sheer volume of these remote positions is so high, companies literally can't afford to gatekeep them behind bachelor's degrees anymore. They desperately need a wider talent pool, which is a massive opportunity for you if you're looking to change careers. Moving right along to high-paying remote roles and the lucrative jobs you can actually land without a degree. So, what kind of roles are we talking about here? Well, these are the jobs where companies care way more about what you can do rather than a piece of paper you hold. Think about this number, $59,946. Based on recent data tracking non-degree remote work, that's the average annual salary for a technical support specialist. Seriously, almost 60 grand a year, and you're earning every penny of it right from your home office. It just goes to show how lucrative these accessible remote roles can actually be. And hey, it's definitely not just tech support. Content moderators are averaging over $59,000. Digital marketing specialists pulling in over $58,000. Client services reps sit at around $57,000, and inside sales reps are making over $53,000. And honestly, that's usually before you even factor in uncapped commissions. The old corporate ladder used to force you into massive student debt just to get your foot in the door. But this new remote reality, it lets you completely bypass those traditional gatekeepers and make a fantastic living just by showing you have the right targeted skills. Let's shift gears slightly and talk about the best jobs with no experience and immediate entry paths. Now, you might be thinking, well, what if I don't have those targeted skills yet, and I need to pivot right now? It's all about understanding the trade-offs. On one hand, you've got beginner roles. We're talking customer service and data entry. They generally pay between $10 and $30 an hour. The pay is lower, sure, but the barrier to entry is incredibly low. You can often get rolling in just a few weeks. On the flip side, you have specialized or freelance roles, things like graphic design or being a highly specialized virtual assistant. These can pay anywhere from $20 all the way up to $150 an hour. They definitely require you to build up a specific skill, but man, the earning potential is practically uncapped. Let's drill down into those beginner rates for a second just to set some totally realistic expectations. If you are starting out with absolutely zero prior experience, you can for sure target customer service roles paying $10 to $30 an hour. General virtual assistants, meaning you're managing emails, scheduling, doing basic admin stuff, they can earn $20 to $50 an hour, which is phenomenal if you need part-time flexibility. And data entry, which is super accessible, usually pays $10 to $20 an hour. Think of these as stepping stones. They're fantastic ways to build up your remote work track record. All right, so we know these jobs exist and we know what they pay, but that brings us to the million-dollar question. So how do you actually land these roles? Knowing about them is really only half the battle. Now we've got to talk execution, which brings us right into where to find legitimate work, looking at vetted platforms and companies. Look, if you just go and toss your resume into those massive generic job boards, it's probably going to end up in a black hole. You absolutely need a vetted checklist. Looking for freelance work? Go set up your profiles on verified platforms like Upwork or Fiverr. Do you want full-time salaried roles? Check out vetted platforms like FlexJobs. Or if you want to apply directly to the source, look at major companies with serious, fully remote hiring initiatives. We're talking about Jerry, the AI insurance company, Progressive, the auto insurance giant, or Gallagher, an organization that is really renowned for its remote, inclusive culture. But wait, when you do apply to these full-time roles, there is a super vital tactic you absolutely must use. It's called the ATS keyword match. ATS stands for Applicant Tracking System. Basically, when you hit submit, a bot reads your resume before a human ever lays eyes on it. You have to tailor your resume so that 80% of its keywords perfectly match the job description. I'm serious. If the posting asks for data entry and quality check, you need those exact phrases on your resume. That is exactly how you bypass those automated filters and actually get your application into the hands of a real, living hiring manager. And finally, pitching your first clients, the execution playbook. Now, if you decide to skip the whole full-time application process and go straight for freelance, actively winning clients is your most crucial step. I know it sounds super daunting, but it really boils down to a pretty simple, actionable 3-step recipe. Step 1, build 2 to 3 spec or speculative samples. If you want to be a writer or a designer, just create fake projects to prove you can do the work. Don't wait around for permission. Step 2, optimize your LinkedIn profile. Make it incredibly clear what service you offer, because that visibility leads straight to referrals. And step 3, track 50 targeted cold pitches every single week. Don't just sit there waiting for people to find you. Reach out to businesses and offer your skills. It's a numbers game, guys, and 50 pitches a week will absolutely get you responses. Oh, and here's a little insider tip for you once you actually get your foot in the door. Specialization equals multiplication. What do I mean by that? Well, general virtual assistants might start out at $20 an hour, but VAs who pick a specific niche, like managing social media or doing specialized bookkeeping, they can instantly double their rates to over $40 an hour. So once you're comfortable working remotely, start specializing. It's an absolute game changer for scaling your income rapidly. All right, we've covered a ton of ground today, from busting that old degree myth to breaking down $60,000 salaries, entry-level rates, and the exact steps you need to land your first client. The entire landscape of work has fundamentally changed, and honestly, the doors are wide open for anyone willing to put in the effort to learn a targeted skill. So I'll leave you with this one question to chew on. Are you ready to finally trade in your daily commute for a high-paying skill? The whole playbook is right here. Now it's up to you to take that first step.